हेलो दोस्तों, एग्जाम में आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। 300 इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन फॉर आरबीआई ग्रेड बी। हर बार इससे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं एग्जाम में, और टॉपर्स, आप देख लीजिए पुराने इंटरव्यू, टॉपर्स ने ये बात बार बार कही है कि दिस सीरीज हैज बीन इमेंसली यूजफुल। अब मैं आपको शुरू करता हूँ 23 के लिए 300 इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन फॉर आरबीआई ग्रेड बी, एंड we will definitely do it to the point 50% faster. So this is the first video, starting with the first question. Still you are buying mock test, so stop doing that. बेस्ट क्वालिटी मॉक टेस्ट मिल रहे हैं आपको यहाँ पे। क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 इज इन द कैपिटल मार्केट द ट्रेड ऑफ स्टॉक्स एंड बॉन्ड्स and their safekeeping in the dematerialized form is facilitated by. So when you are going for RBI Grade B exam, you have to understand the difference between all type of institutions here. So I think confusion will happen between these two options, depositories and DPs, depository participants. Question क्या है? Safe keeping in the dematerialized form. So what is dematerialized form? In an electronic form. So which institution is keeping it in electronic form? Have any idea? The correct answer therefore is depositories, not depository participant. और डिफरेंस क्या होता है डिपॉजिटरी पार्टिसिपेंट में? So depositories are the institutions that held securities in electronic form. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फॉर्म जिसको हम डीमेट भी बोलते हैं. Examples of such institutions are like NSDL, right? And ये इंस्टीट्यूशन क्या करते हैं? ये आपको डीमेट फॉर्म में सिक्योरिटीज रखने में हेल्प करते हैं. पहले से क्या होता था? जस्ट थिंक ऑफ अर्लियर टाइम, दीज सिक्योरिटीज यूज टू बी हेल्ड इन ए फिजिकल फॉर्म. किसी कंपनी का आपने शेयर खरीदे तो जैसे बैंक का एफडी मिलता है वैसे मिलता था. तो एनएसडीएल एंड सीडीएसएल आर टू इंस्टीट्यूशंस विच आर डिपॉजिटरीज. सीडीएसएल का फुल फॉर्म क्या है? इफ यू नो एनएसडीएल, सीडीएसएल विल नॉट बी दैट इजी. कमेंट में टाइप करके देखो, बिफोर गूगलिंग डू इट, देन यू विल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट a preparation of one word can make a difference. So what are depository participant? DPs. So DPs, in very simple language, if I say, these are the agent of depositories, because depositories are the institutions which are holding it in the demat form, but depository participants, they are doing this business, they are intermediaries between the investors, traders and the depositories. So they are agent of depositories. ठीक है, उनके लिए काम करते हैं. सपोज वी आर ए कंपनी, एग्जाम बीज ए कंपनी, वी वांट टू कीप आवर शेयर्स इन डीमैट फॉर्म. So how we will do? Ultimately the form in demat, the shares in demat will be kept with NSDL or CDSL, but we are not going to go directly to NSDL or CDSL. These DPs, the agent appointed by depositories are the agent through which we have to do this. Stock exchanges are like NSE, BSE, different. SEBI, RBI तो कोई confusion होना ही नहीं चाहिए. Interesting question. Now, Fisher effect. This question has been asked, so don't think it is very theoretical or it is very high level question. So what is Fisher effect? For the interest of time, maybe I skip reading all the options. So Fisher effect is defined as the relationship between which of the following variables. If you know what is Fisher effect, you will understand. There are three things in Fisher effect, and this is a very very important economic concept. Maybe you know what is the economic concept, but you may not be knowing. Sometime it may happen that this is Fisher effect. So let me go to that. Automatically you will get the answer. अगर आपने आंसर अभी तक क्लिक कर लिया है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. So Fisher effect is the relationship between these three things: real interest rate, nominal interest rate and expected inflation. So it is very simple, and if you understand this with an example, it will be easy to remember. कैसे करना है आपको याद? तो आपको समझना है, सपोज टुडे यू आर डिपॉजिटिंग your, suppose you have whatever 1 lakh rupees and you are depositing in bank and getting an interest of say 7%, but is that the real, the real interest? Means the interest you are getting is 7%, but because of the inflation, say inflation is 5%, so what actually are you getting? Getting my point? If you don't keep money in bank, so anyhow 5%, because of the 5% inflation, the value of the money is going to be decreasing by that amount. So this is the exact formula of the Fisher effect. You have to remember this formula also, because the exact formula is this: 1 plus I. I is the nominal interest rate and R is the real interest rate, and here pi is the inflation. The expected inflation, actually the correct term is expected inflation, but in many books you will find it like inflation. In a very simplified version, this can be the formula used: nominal interest rate is equal to real interest rate plus pi. You understood here? Because this is the inflation, this is the interest rate, you have to realize real plus pi, and therefore the correct option here is in the question is the third one. It shows the relationship between real interest rate, inflation, and nominal interest rate. Okay. Again, repeating this point, stop buying mock test when you can earn it at exam. I will not say you are getting absolutely free, because you have to earn with BPDA. You do it at exam B, you will know how you earn. You need not to really spend the money, but definitely you have to put your effort. This is going to be the most interesting question in today's discussion, because we study finance, management, economics, but we give less importance to this. Quant, बहुत लोगों से सेक्शनल का टॉप नहीं निकलेगा. So the question says P is invested for T years at 20% interest, which is compounded yearly. Compounded yearly, हाँ. अगर question change हो गया, be careful about it. But mostly questions has in RBI exam, most of the time fundamentals get checked, not calculations. So by doing it, say annual quarterly compounding, calculation will become difficult. Interest rate earned is this. This is the interest amount earned, 10,550. The difference between principal and interest is 56% of the principal. So this is the first thing which is giving you calculation, some calculation to go forward. So what it says, the difference between principal P and interest I is equal to 56%. So I can write it 0.56. That is what I do always for my time saving, 56% of P. So you got this relationship. So once you have this relationship, and now you know what is the amount of interest earned, this is 10,000 rupees, which is I. But from this you can very well get, if you take I this side and this is again P, so this will become 0.44 of P. So what is P now? P is equal to I is 10,560 divided by 0.44. So you know, you do this calculation, your principal comes, I think, 24,000 rupees. See this calculation. Now you have to do it by fundamental, no shortcut. कुछ shortcut नहीं लगाया इसमें, and this way it can be solved maximum maybe in 2 minutes. It's not very difficult. Same compounding interest का formula, no more formula. So I calculated P here, 24,000 rupees. Now the question is very simple. So आपको तो मालूम है P निकल गया, आपका प्रिंसिपल निकल गया. Now you have principal, you have interest, and निकालना क्या है आपको? T, time duration, right? Put that in formula. You have P. So P plus I is, बहुत बार आपको A लिखा हुआ मिलेगा ना बुक्स में, the amount after 3 years, right? So this is P plus A, right? P plus A is, sorry, A is equal to P plus I, right? 24,000, and then you can calculate T, which comes like 2 years. और यहाँ पर आप गलती करोगे एग्जाम में, क्योंकि ये 2 ईयर निकालने के बाद यहाँ पर आप बोलोगे कि मेरा आंसर सॉल्व हो गया. Actually, I made a mistake here in writing question. It was T plus 3 ऐसा था square. That was the question. This was the actual question asked in the previous year exam. तो ऐसा हवा से नहीं ले रहे हैं. RBI Grade B में ऐसे questions आते हैं, and that's why I am taking these type of questions in 300 series. So अब mistake क्या होगी? Sometime people will do square of the number, बल्कि करना क्या है, T plus 3 5 का स्क्वायर करना है, आंसर बिकम्स 25. बट यू हैव टू बी केयरफुल कि ये भी करना है. इसमें ऑप्शन आंसर लिखा नहीं था, हाँ था ना. अगर 2 का स्क्वायर कर लेते 16 आ जाता तो प्रॉब्लम हो जाती थी. और ये मिस्टेक बहुत बार हम एग्जाम में करते हैं कि हम 16 क्लिक कर देंगे. 2 स्क्वायर 16, मैंने बहुत मेहनत करी, आंसर निकाला था T2, बट यहाँ भूल गए थे. तो दिस इज द पेशेंस ऑफ माइंड, दिस इज द ability to conduct yourself in the exam hall. That's why I say keep practicing. Control on nerves. ये तभी आता है जब आप focused रहते हो. Right. Next question is about which of the following is an example of passive investment instrument? You know what is active investment, passive investment? I will tell the answer. These are the options: ETF, exchange traded funds, mutual fund, stock, preference shares, yeah, all of that. But I will tell you what is 50% faster preparation. Many a time this question comes to us. So iExam makes your preparation 50% faster because the content here is very crisp. See, today the problem is there is so much of information overload. In the today's era, when we were studying, we were actually better. We had limited books, and from those we have to study and whatever, do make our career, crack our exam. There was less confusion. Few teachers were there whom we could ask something. Now today everyone is mentor, everyone is guru. Somebody says this, somebody says this. अपने आप जिंदगी में कुछ नहीं भी किया लेकिन यूट्यूब में तो ज्ञान दे ही सकते हैं. And people get confused. So you need not to get cluttered. We make it very simple, very crisp. We follow this flipped classroom approach where we cover entire syllabus in short videos. You watch those videos depending on your requirement. क्या मतलब है 2-2 घंटे की पूरी लंबी क्लास सुनने का when you really don't need that because you are already good in that subject. Maybe it is economics, finance, quant, English, reasoning, current affairs. So you can learn at your pace following this flipped classroom approach and then come to the live class for doubt clarification. Also, the personalized guidance by those expert faculty who have cracked several of such exam, that makes your preparation 50% faster. और correct answer है यहाँ पे ETF, exchange traded funds. Now understand what is ETF versus other fund. ये जानना जरूरी है because ETF पर अलग से भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है एग्जाम में, right? So ETF is a marketable security that tracks an index, a commodity or a bond, a basket of assets. So basically the name itself suggests exchange traded fund, right? So इसमें कुछ एक्टिव काम करना नहीं है. जो आपका फंड मैनेजर है, he has simple job in ETF, not very complex job. ETF are funds that tracks index like BSC index. It can be gold also, it can be silver, it can be oil, anything. So the fund manager is basically simply managing the portfolio, tracking to that particular exchange or maybe commodity. So it is a passive investment. Fund manager makes only minor periodic adjustment because sometimes the shares, the security in the exchange where we are following the index can also change. So that composition change has to be done by the fund manager. If you compare that with the mutual fund, देन यू विल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज पैसिव इन्वेस्टमेंट. सो म्यूचुअल फंड में क्या होता है, द फंड मैनेजर is trying to give you return more than the market return by actively managing the portfolio, by churning the portfolio. So here the expectation is not to beat the market. जो index को आप track कर रहे हो, suppose you have bought gold ETF, so whatever will be the price change in the gold, accordingly आपका भी portfolio में उतना ही price change होगा. They don't try to beat the market. Unlike in case of mutual fund where actively managed and the fund manager try to beat the market. तो वो फंड मैनेजर क्या बोलेगा वहां पे, सुना है ये, मेरा अल्फा क्या है, अल्फा क्या है, अल्फा इज द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द फंड मैनेजर. मार्केट रिटर्न से मैं कितना एक्स्ट्रा दे सकता हूं. ईटीएफ के केस में कोई अल्फा की बात नहीं हो रही है. अल्फा, बेटा, वेगा अलग से बताऊंगा, अगर आपने नहीं सुने क्वेश्चन भी बताऊंगा उस पे. नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं फिलहाल. व्हेन ए पर्सन एक्सपोजेस मिसकंडक्ट और alleged or dishonest, illegal, unethical activity occurring in an organization, what is it called? And you have to know this term very very well. Confusion नहीं होना चाहिए by these kind of questions. So I think this is a very simple question. So this is what? Answer lock कर लिया आपने अपना, whistle blowing, right? So this is very simple one. Insider trading means you are doing trading in some security, some shares based on the insider information. But in this case, some unethical practice, some corruption, some dishonesty is highlighted by whistleblower. जो विशल ब्लोअर कौन होते हैं, सिक्योरिटी गार्ड होते हैं, चौकीदार होते हैं जैसे ना, वो अपना विशल ब्लो करते हैं, अलार्म देते हैं, समथिंग रॉन्ग इज गोइंग ऑन. सो दैट इज व्हाट विशल ब्लोइंग इज. सिंपल इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड द टर्म्स. द नेक्स्ट वन इज रीजनिंग क्वेश्चन. करके दिखाइए, इसको भी आसान है, मुश्किल नहीं है ये. रीजनिंग इज नॉट दैट डिफिकल्ट इन आरबीआई ग्रेड बी. इन ए सर्टेन लैंग्वेज फोर्स is written as 641832 and MIST is written as 1331920. So now how Uranus will be written in that language. So first try to map these. तो देखो force FORCE 5, यहाँ पे 6, अच्छा जी missed MIST, और यहाँ पर तो यहाँ 4 है, यहाँ पे हो गए तो 7, ये क्या चक्कर हो रहा है. So now you have to guess. So it is not that one letter is representing one digit. पक्का हो गया ये तो श्योर है. When you are practicing and you are practicing reasoning, so you have to remember alphabets. पक्का alphabets, English alphabet means A B C से लेकर X Y Z. So you have to remember their concerned numbers like 1 2 3 से लेकर this is 26 25 24 is X. And if you don't remember all 26 like this, remember this formula of Ijotti. Someone, actually my teacher in my coaching, he told me that Ijotti. So Ijotti is very easy to remember. E is 5, 10, 15, 20 is T and Y is 25. So उसके आगे पीछे का निकल जाएगा. If you ask me M, so M N O, M is 13 then, right? M is equal to 13. Easy to remember, huh? Ijotti. So यहाँ पे क्या होगा, force. So now when you see this की one letter is not representing one digit, तो कुछ तो चल रहा है ऐसा. तो F को देखा तो 6 याद आया, तो F याद आ गया, ये तो पक्का है भाई. F तो 6 आ गया, बट O की जगह 4 क्यों आया फिर, कुछ तो और भी हो रहा है. अच्छा, मिस्ड इज रिटन एज दिस. ओ M इज 13. आई टोल्ड यू M इज 13, ये पक्का है. M 13 हो रहा है, फिर I का 3 क्यों हो रहा है, कुछ तो और चल रहा है. तो व्हाट इज दैट, देन I एंड O it shall trigger something is happening with the vowels A E I O U. ये कुछ हो रहा है, अब समझ में हो गया, डिकोड हो गया. So A is 1, correct हो रहा है, A is 1. ओ, यहाँ पर है आया ओ, या 2 3 4, ओ इज 4, सो वाउल को अलग से 1 2 3 4 में रखा गया है। देखो F41 नहीं, F6, 4 इज O, R इज 18, R इज 18, T PQRST है ना, तो यहाँ से आपको T is 20, so R is 18. If you don't remember, all remember is or T. So now you got it how to solve this problem. आंसर मिल गया? Okay, easy है. If you remember this is or T thing, you can do it maximum in a minute. Some people can do it in 30 seconds also. Now coming to the next question. So this is the answer. Vowels are coded at like 1 2 3 4 5. Which of the following statement about counter-cyclical lending and pro-cyclical lending is or are correct? So what is counter-cyclical and what is pro-cyclical? Statement 1. In business cycles, theory and finance, any economic quantity that is positively correlated with the overall state of the economy is said to be pro-cyclical. ठीक है? Anything which is positively correlated with the economy state is pro-cyclical. ठीक है? Banks keep the lending rate high and increase benefits during an economic prosperity and therefore arrest the interest increase in the credit uptake is an example of counter cyclical lending. But हमेशा क्या ऐसा होएगा, और हमेशा क्या ऐसा होने वाला है कि because bank increase the lending rate and they increase the buffer, and that's how they arrest the increase in the credit uptake, and this is a counter cyclical lending example. मतलब how interest rate will behave, that depends on lot of factors in the market. We cannot conclude this, छोड़ देते हैं. Quantities that tend to increase when the overall economy is slowing down are classified as counter cyclical. Make sense? First and 3. But you shall be familiar with what is pro-cyclical, what is counter-cyclical. This term has been used increasingly in last 3-4 years. Global economies are going through different turmoils and central bank and governments are taking different steps. So you have to know that. Next question is PPP is a special kind of contract involving 2 or more public and private sector for long term. PPP is mostly used to fund. In the question itself, there is a good indication that PPP is used for the long term. So first you shall know what is the full form of PPP. Public-private partnership. This is not the PPP, purchasing power parity, which is very different concept, right? So this PPP is public-private partnership and this is used for, easy है, this is easy. Just tell me startup. स्टार्टअप में लॉन्ग टर्म की क्या बात हो रही है? स्टार्टअप को तो मालूम ही नहीं है 6 महीने बाद जिंदा भी रहेगी कि नहीं. SMEs, FPOs, farmer producing organizations. So do you really need public sector and private sector to come forward together, join for helping funding PFOs and SMEs and startup and small corporate? छोटा छोटा लोन चाहिए इनको, किसी को लाख भी बहुत होगा, किसी को करोड़ और 10 करोड़ और 20 करोड़ स्मॉल कॉर्पोरेट में. सो व्हाई डू यू नीड रियली PPP देयर? बट फॉर फाइनेंसिंग लार्ज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर you have this PPP mode which really helps because large amount of fund is involved. Then public sector, private sector, they come together and long term association between them. Say for example a highway project. Highway में क्या होता है? The government also have a limited budget, no? So suppose government has a budget of say 50,000 rupees in one state, 50,000 crore rupees in one state to spend on a particular kind of highways. So 50,000 they spending all together, and maybe another say 1 lakh crore is coming from private sector. So the amount of road that can be constructed can be 3 times of that. So build that road and then build a toll on the road. वहां से क्या होगा, प्राइवेट सेक्टर पार्टनरशिप आ गई, अब टोल कलेक्शन हुआ तो जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर ने फंड किया है उसको पैसा मिल जाएगा उसका. सो दिस इज हाउ PPP projects work, whether it is a road, it may be a hydro project, hydroelectric project or something like that, where there are large long term investment. UPI is monitored by, ये सिंपल क्वेश्चन है. अब इसका मैं क्या आंसर एक्सप्लेन करूं. यूपीआई सबको मालूम है और आई थिंक इसका आंसर भी बहुत सिंपल है. RBI, IDRBT, but you shall know all these institutions because IDRBT is again RBI owned institutions. So here the correct answer is NPCI, which has started UPI and they are taking care of this, and this happens under the Payment and Settlement Act of 2007. You shall know this act, the name of this act, and the major purpose is making the settlement work well in India, and the power is all with RBI under Payment and Settlement Act of 2007. Please remember the year also, it may be also asked in the exam, right? So for retail payment UPI is there, and NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, is a RBI institution. Now last question, which of the following is not a hygiene factor as per the Herzberg's two-factor theory? Management, comparatively easy section, but questions create all the confusion in the exam when you have lot many options. Herzberg two-factor theory, I am sure you must have studied if you have studied any motivation theory. First normally is Maslow's theory. Second one normally is the Herzberg two-factor theory. You tell your answer by writing in the comment. Let me come this side so that you can read what I am writing there. So you write and then we will meet in the next video. I will tell you the correct answer. Till then, keep preparing 50% faster, be confident, trust yourself. RBI Grade B exam is near, and if you prepare well, if you practice well, you can definitely make it. An ounce of practice is worth 1,000 words. So what I do for my exam, that is much more important than what do I say here. Be confident. See you in the next video. Thank you. Please share and like.